Ted, thank you for those kind words. I certainly appreciate it. I want to congratulate Wally and Wright, certainly Wright, my lifelong friend, and Wally, I know about you, for being co-recipients of these honors today. Ted, you're an interesting guy, is all I can say. I'll have to share a couple of quick ones with you. Ted's trademark line to me over the years was, let me let you say it. Which gave me the feeling like maybe Ted had the story written before he called you. But we always had some interesting discussions, and it was always a good give and take there, and I appreciated that over the years, Ted. Ted is making it sound all rosy, like I'm a press guy, and I love the press, and you know, I love people. Whatever you do, if you do it professionally and you're fair and you're honest and you're open and you're transparent, you're going to get along with me, and hopefully I'm going to get along with you. But if there's an exchange that, you know, is improper, inappropriate, unfair, you know, I'll probably have a word to say about it. It's just who I am. I want to just harken back a few years. Some of you may know this. I know one person in the room will, and I'll be citing him in the course of what I'm going to tell you. Because things haven't always been rosy in terms of my relationship with the press. And I'm dating myself back to the year 1990. I'd just taken over as athletic director at Vanderbilt, replacing Roy Kramer. And I stepped into a situation where, you know, basically I was out of the ACC. I was an associate AD at North Carolina with John Swallow. And I was looking forward to the challenge. I realized that great opportunity, fantastic academic institution, not a particularly strong athletic program, or as my first year coach, Jerry DiNardo, decided to put it, let's see, he was referring to, what was it? Ron, you probably remember this because you were seated when he said it. He said, the difference between the schools in the SEC and Vanderbilt is, at Vanderbilt, we're academically sound and athletically corrupt. And then, which earned him an immediate response from Coach Kramer, and I had to deal with that. So,
which is why LSU hired him.
Which is, exactly. But I bring that up because when I arrived, my head coach at the time was Watson Brown. I'm sure many of you remember that name, Mac Brown's brother. And we had just hired Mac Brown at North Carolina. I was on the search committee that brought him there from Tulane. I was very friendly with Mac during his first 2 years. As you recall, 1 and 10. He made that sound like 10 and 1 because, as you know, Mac is the only guy that can open a refrigerator door and give a speech to the light bulb. So he had everything going for him, and we were good friends. When I arrived, everybody asked me, what are you going to do about Watson? Well, what do you mean, what am I going to do about Watson? Well, Watson had won maybe like 4 or 5 games in 5 years. And that's all every week. We'd lose by 40, 50 points. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, obviously, I said what everybody says, we'll evaluate it at the end of the season. So, long story short, we evaluated at the end of the season, which was Saturday after the last game, and I made a replacement. Well, you would have thought all hell broke out. My esteemed friends during that period of time, particularly John Bibb, remember that name, and Larry Woody was our beat writer. David Clymer was the beat writer for Tennessee at the time, and Joe Biddle was at the Nashville Banner. And the reason I'm bringing this up is when all hell broke loose because we had fired Watson Brown, my nom de guerre in the morning paper, which was, as you know, headed up by John Bibb, was Hitman Hoolahan. And for the afternoon paper with Mr. Biddle, it was Hatchet Man Hoolahan. The terms were used appropriately, I guess, for a year. So that was my, introductory relationship, with the press. And I was able to patch things up with Mr. Bibb. Mr. Woody, you never know where Larry was, but I thought we had a good relationship. And David Kleiman was just a UT guy, and that was the way it was. But Joe never came around for whatever reason, as you'll attest to, because Ron Higgins was in Memphis watching it from the sideline. And not only did he have the paper, but he also had the opportunity to go on one of those 50,000 watt blasters in the afternoon and go on for, with George Placer for 3 or 4 hours. So things, weren't always rosy, is my whole point there. But when I arrived at the Sugar Bowl, my goal was to have a fresh start and try to really establish good relations with the people in the various positions of power. And I think we did overall, and certainly, had more of an opportunity to deal with the national press as a result of being the head man at the Sugar Bowl. And for the most part, that just worked out beautifully. So I think, as Ted said, I do support that. I do support what you people do. I realize it's a tough position to be in. Coaches are not always the easiest people to work with. Athletic directors can be tough. I realize that too, but I admire the way you do the jobs that you do, and I'm certainly appreciative of everything that you've done over the years. And when we had an opportunity to support anything, whether it be in the Sports Information Bureau or anything of that nature, or supporting the new trophy with Eddie Robinson for Coach of the Year, we love being behind things like that. And I certainly hope that we'll continue to do that, because I think the Sugar Bowl and the Jeff is committed to the right values. And Herschel, I just wanted to say, if Barbara and Miss Dooley was here, they'd be happy to be sitting next to you. Many of you may or may not know, but they named their dog after him. So it's one of the great things. They love you, and we're certainly proud to have you back. So again, I want to thank everybody for this honor, a great privilege, and continue to do the great job you do. Thank you.